And trust me, it's harder to go back here than it is to go back here, even though you have experience. Why is that? And I'm going to explain this with the whiteboard here so you understand the progression of that excitement and how you can leverage it to surf on your results, on the hard work that you do. That's when you get started. You're right here. This is excitement and this is results. Results can be either money or gains, any kind of results that is positive, all right? More muscle, more money, more whatever. But let's talk about business here. So you get started, for example, with some kind of freelance business. You provide services, you help people solve problems, which is the most basic business ever. You solve problems and you get started. You get excited with an opportunity that's right here, and that makes it easier to enter the market, right? Because people think they need that opportunity in their business and you're here to provide it. And because you're new, well, you have that advantage that other people can't take on new opportunities every time because they need to focus on what they're already doing. So you get started, you get some kind of results, and you get one client here, all right? You get some proof. And that pushes your excitement higher as you get more clients. And as it pushes it higher, it makes you want to learn and earn faster. It builds something extremely important, confidence. That's the money maker. There's no such thing as financial freedom. There's only financial confidence. Because let's say you're a rich kid who inherited all the money from his parents, then you don't necessarily have the financial IQ to maintain it. And you don't even have the confidence because you know you don't really deserve it. You just got it for free, right? So you didn't learn the lessons to actually use it in the best way. And so that's what you build. That's very important. And as you get more confidence, people feel it and it gets you more excited. It gets even other people excited. So that moves further with more results until you reach a point where it gets more difficult. For example, like it happened to me with my first short-form content agency, where people were noticing that short-form content was good, but it wasn't driving really ROI in a way that you just made more views and then it sold more programs. You had to build other infrastructures behind that. And before I learned that fact, then I started to lose clients. It started to go down. Let me take the red one here. So boom, I got hit. My confidence got hit more and more. It went down. And if you're not ready to pivot fast enough, you'll just risk going downhill. And now is the point about how experience can lead you to failure, is that in this phase here, you've built experience, okay? So you know the business, you know how it is. You went through the valley of not knowing things. It's the Dunning-Kruger Valley, I think. I'm gonna look that up. But basically, you have a uninformed optimism because you don't know what you're in for. And so it keeps you going because it's the adventure, right? You're getting results. As soon as you're declining and you're going back to the bottom, which you don't want, then you already got all of the experience, all of the suffering, but you're back to zero. And trust me, it's harder to go back here than it is to go back here, even though you have experience. Why is that? Maybe you think that with experience, it's easier because you already know the lessons from here, right? And it can actually. It can help you learn from the mistakes and not go through the same traps. But the problem here is that you might lose something that's very important, which is drive. And why is that? It's because, our brains are built for comfort. As you went through this valley of suffering, you know what you're in for. You have informed pessimism. You know the suffering that's waiting for you. And so this is why it's going to be harder to get that momentum back. And on top of that, on top of the experience that you have and the suffering that you know you're in for, the market changes, right? Even more if you're doing online business, it changes super fast, even more now with AI. So not only you have the experience of the suffering, but you know it's going to be a bit different because there's new parameters. So you're a bit discouraged because your experience isn't even that useful. It's actually more like a weight on your shoulders, right? At least that's how I felt. And so that's why experience can lead you to failure. Now, how can you reverse that? While you're on that path and you build experience, right? this. You learn skills, okay? That's the output is skills. And getting results is always a matter of skills, okay? Unless you play the lottery, that's luck, even though there's luck in business as well. But it's most likely a problem of skill. You get Mr. Beast any YouTube channel, he can grow it to 1 million followers because he's got the skills. He's practiced it so much that he understands the game. You give a business to Elon Musk, he's gonna grow it, right? So you got more skills. Now, the way you can use them is maybe with a new opportunity, even though you don't wanna just fall for the shiny object syndrome. But sometimes with the skills you've acquired here, you can get in another market much, much easier. And it can even be a related business. For example, if you were providing services, you can still provide services, but maybe to another ICP, to another target in another way with other services, because maybe you knew how to edit videos. Your business just crashed down, but then you had to learn how to sell or how to create software. Then you can match those skills and create something better. And that's part of the plan. You have to think of the story you will tell later. It's always better in retrospective. So you just gotta focus. On finding that sense of excitement again. And this is how you're gonna be able to take those skills and apply them to a new opportunity, right? And this leads me to another quote from the book. I was 36 years old and I seemed lost and unable to settle into anything. I too had moments of great doubt and even depression, but I did not really feel lost. Something inside kept pushing and guiding me. I was searching and exploring. I was hungry for experiences and I was continuously writing, because he's a writer. And he did a lot of different jobs. He just kept traveling, and even at some point his parents were worried about him because 36 years old, he was still lost. So it just gets to show you that it only looks good in retrospective. And the thing that helped me, and that might help you if you're in that rut or you don't know where to move next, is to keep searching for that sense of excitement. It must feel right. And once it feels right, it probably feels right for a reason, because it's connected to the skills you have and to the natural inclinations that you have. Because, I don't think we just want to make money here. We want to be the greatest at what we do. And in order to be the greatest at what we do, we need to use everything that we have, everything that makes us unique, and apply them in new markets. There's a visual that I saw somewhere on Instagram which summarizes this perfectly, which is how to create personal monopolies. And basically, let's say you have things defining you, right? There's circles. For example, your style, the way you present yourself to the world, your skills, and I don't know, your communication. Could be whatever, honestly. Your interests. When you try to be the best at one thing, for example, just at your style, you're in competition with a lot of people. And so it's gonna be hard to be the best at one thing, right? Some other people took their spot here. If you're trying to be the best video editor, for example, it's gonna be hard. There's a lot of competition. The best at communication, marketing, it's gonna be hard as well. But let's say combining those three can create something unique, never seen before. That sounds weird maybe, but which is why it's unique. But this is exactly how you can create a monopoly. With those three things together right here, you're able to go much higher, because you got to use what makes you unique in this life. And that's actually how you can be great. And that's the challenge of life, actually. I always want to make it, perfect and know it all as fast as possible. I'm a victim of that as well. But personally, for example, I'm born in Switzerland. That's something about me. I went to the army. I tried multiple different businesses. I traveled a lot. And between those things, it might not make sense now, but this is where I can create something that makes me unique and the greatest at what I do. So yeah, that's what you should aim for in order to not let experience drive you down. If you want more insights like this, you can join my newsletter.